We have all had painful events in our lives that can lead to depression, anxiety, addiction, or broken relationships. But here's a secret. It is not about what happened to us that causes suffering. It's the stories we believe about ourselves. Join us as we shine light on how to rewrite our stories, avoid the shadows of shame, and travel along the pathway to joy, love, and connection. It's the Finding Peace podcast with your host, Amazon best-selling author, Troy L. Love.
Hello, and welcome back to the Finding Peace podcast. I know that it's been a while since we have made a recording, and I'm really excited to be back in the chair today. And my guest is a wonderful, beautiful woman named Dee, who's going to be hanging out with me today. She's chosen to go by Dee, and we're honoring that. So I'm excited to have you here with us, Dee.
Thank you, Troy. I'm excited to be here.
Tell me what it is that you would like to have a little bit more peace, joy, or comfort about in your life right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I'll just start talking and then we'll zero in on what it is to work on.
Sure.
I'm a paid partner, and the part where I'm at in my healing journey is that I've been healing from the betrayal. However, there's some shame around being a professional, and due to my career as being a therapist, I should have known. So there's a lot of shame around that aspect of me not being able to be human and to put my betrayal story out there. So there's that piece. And then there's this other piece of grief. And when I flipped through all the work that you do and I looked at the wounding, what I came up with is that I've been neglected my entire life. I've also been betrayed, but I've somehow made sense about that. But there's this piece about loss and neglect that is preventing me from finding peace in the next step in healing from this betrayal trauma.
You can hear that you're wanting to move forward and there's that block.
Yeah.
How does shame keep you from taking the next step?
I have always felt that I've been invisible. And I have come to terms with, as I'm working on this grief, I was invisible in my relationship.
You weren't seen.
I wasn't seen. I'm seen if I'm the martyr. But I realized that a lot of my drive in my life has been to be seen. I have this really deep fear that even as much impact that I have on people in my life that I help on their healing journey, that I will never be remembered. And part of this betrayal is that I wasn't considered. I wasn't remembered. So that feels like where it's at.
Take a deep breath. Let it go. Thank you for being so vulnerable with me about this. It means a lot. So, what are the facts?
The facts are that I wasn't considered because of an addiction.
So is that a fact or is that a story?
That's a story.
So if I were going to watch on a camera what happened to you and to your partner, what would I see?
You would see two individuals playing out a lot of pain.
So he cheated on you in some form.
Yes,
So that's a fact.
that's a fact.
And you didn't know.
Didn't know.
Right. So we'll start with that. Right. So he cheated on you and you didn't know. And then you found out and it was devastating.
Correct.
Yeah.
And fact, he lied even more.
So he lied repetitively.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what wound does that hit?
Betrayal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you also identified you have a neglect wound. There's probably neglect woven into his behavior. It also sounds like you have a neglect wound from well before that.
Correct.
Yeah. So when that betrayal wound gets hit today, what is the core belief?
I am powerless.
Mm. And I'm powerless to do what?
I am powerless to the last few years of my life. I am powerless to have my brain be intact. I am powerless to his healing.
Mm.
But what I have power to is my own.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm. I'm so glad you tapped into that.
that's why I'm here.
I know. I love it. It's great. All right. So there's also this component that you're a therapist, right?
Correct.
A mental health, healing therapist where you help people with mental health issues and those kind of things. And so you have some shadows that show up around this betrayal. So who comes out?
The impotent one,
Mm-hmm. Anyone
the
else?
martyr,
Oh, the martyr. Yep. And who else?
the judge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So who do you want to address first?
The judge.
Okay. So if you were going to send me a snapshot of what the judge looks like, if you took a picture of it and texted it to me, what would I see when I opened up the picture?
It would have a big, dark, energetic being that is sitting with a huge gavel and telling me that because I have pain, I need to find another career.
Wow. So the judge believes that therapists can't have pain.
My judge does.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So this is a massive energy.
It's massive. Yeah.
Where is it right now in the room?
It's standing right behind me.
And how does that feel? Having it breathing down your neck.
It's almost strangling me
Yeah.
to the point of wanting me to go quiet.
Yeah, it really doesn't want you to talk about this.
No.
You also mentioned that it says, you said this earlier, but I'm attributing it to the judge, that it says that you should have known better.
Yeah.
So tell me what it says around that.
It says that, you know the patterns of behavior that are addiction and that if you were more present, you would have picked up on what was going on at home. You would have worked less and shown up more.
Mm.
And you would have not been trying to be enough in your own family system and chasing after success when you had intimacy right in front of you.
Mm. So, can you ask the judge? So, if I had known, then what would have been different?
Maybe I would have left.
Oh, what's that like to say out loud?
It is sad
Mm.
because it brings up that deep, deep neglect wound that I've done this alone, the feeling of being alone my entire life.
Mm.
And so I would have ran.
Mm. So I'm hearing the judge thinks that if you should have known, you should have known, and if you had known, then you should have left.
Yeah, correct.
Mm. And then when you found out, though, you didn't leave.
Well, of course, because my therapist brain came in
Whoa.
online.
So is your judge a male or female or an it?
It's kind of an it.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it made an assumption that if you had known, you would have left. But it's also saying you should have known. So can you ask it how you were supposed to have known?
Well, now it's telling me there is no way I would have known.
Oh, so it does talk out of both sides of its mouth. So on one hand, it's saying you should have known, and now it's flipping and telling you, well, there's no way you would have known.
Well, it's telling me that I should have been able to do the impossible and I should have been able to know. But then it's also over here, it's saying he was so good and he's been living a life of secrecy from a little boy that there's no way you would have known.
And is that the judge or is that something else saying that?
That's something else.
Yeah. What is that? Because I don't think that's a shadow.
I know that's part of my wisdom.
Oh, that's your light talking right there. Oh, wow. You tapped into that pretty quick. So, what's that like to have the light, the wisdom saying this, and the judge is over here saying, you should have known, should have known. And your wisdom saying, there's no way you could have.
I like hearing the wisdom. However, there's something that the judge wants to beat me up for.
Well, ask it. What do you want to beat me up for? What is it? What is it you're trying to beat me up about?
It's trying to say to me that it wants to pair with the wisdom so that don't get swept into blindness again.
Mm. So the judge is trying to protect you from being hurt again.
From being wounded. Yeah,
Yep.
from the wounds.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of its jobs, right? You identified that it was telling you that you should probably get another job. You shouldn't be a therapist anymore. So how does the judge connect the dots from you should have known to now you shouldn't be a therapist anymore. You should go mow lawns or something.
Well, the wisdom part says that if I mow lawns, I see direct outcomes.
Okay. Not that I think you want to go do that, but but what's the connection between you should have known and the judge telling you you shouldn't be a therapist anymore? What's the connection?
Okay, some emotions are coming up.
Mm-hmm. Let them up. Just keep breathing.
because I've spent my entire career doing so much of my own work. I've healed so much from my childhood. And I truly believe that a therapist can only take their client as far as they'll go themselves.
Right.
And I feel like an imposter sometimes.
So that's where the judge shows up. And the judge says you're an imposter because...
Because your life isn't perfect. Wisdom was coming in and telling me, well, I'm human, and I know that perfectionism is impossible. But that deep-rooted wounding when the judge emerged when I was a little girl, she told me that, if I'm perfect, then no one can hurt me.
Right. So let's play that out. So if you're a perfect therapist, then what?
When you say that back, it sounds awful to hear that because there's no...
Yeah, right. There's no perfect therapist. Yeah.
Oh.
So you're able to debunk that pretty quickly when we hear it out loud.
I'm able to debunk it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I think, though, but that's part of this, this struggle with betrayal trauma, is that you deal with your own judge, and then there's a societal judge.
Right.
Because sex addiction has become so dark. We're supposed to do something. We're supposed to just leave.
Who says that?
People.
Yeah. I mean, you work in this field. How many clients have you had that have left after they find this out?
I don't work with many people over 25.
Oh, well, that's nice. You work with
young adults.
Younger. Well, that's lovely. I'll tell you, it's not very high. It's not very high. Most people don't leave right away. So there's another shadow that we haven't identified, but is in the wings here, and that's the politician.
I know.
And I think the politician saying, you can tell me if I'm wrong, that you're a therapist, so you can't let anybody know that you have betrayal trauma, and you shouldn't tell anybody about the betrayal trauma because they are going to question your intellect. They're going to question your competency as a therapist if they find out that you have a husband who betrayed you.
Correct.
What does the politician look like?
The politician is also a male, and he almost has this energy of a clergy of some sort. Like that's the kind of like an old school, button up and, like gray hair,
So where's he in the room?
He's over here.
And what is it like to just see him over there?
like, go away.
You don't you don't want him there.
I don't want him there. He feels very icky to me.
All right, so we have the power to move him wherever we want. So I want you to just imagine that you move him like a mile down the street.
Yeah. I'm moving him out the window and over there.
Beautiful. So now just check in with your body and see how that feels.
It feels better. I feel relief, but I feel some fear.
I'm afraid that.
I'm afraid that if I'm not amazing at what I do, I'm not going to be loved.
So when we move him out into the street, the judge steps back in and says, well, if you're not amazing, people are not going to love you. So you need to be perfect. Be the perfect therapist. Be the amazing therapist. So people will love you.
Well, it's not only love, Troy. It's people aren't going to remember me. And it gets back to that neglect.
Yeah. You want to leave a legacy. Tell me what you're going to paint that picture of a legacy. You could paint it to be whatever you wanted it to be. What would that imagery be? What would your legacy be?
I'm going to go into a little bit of a story because there's a memory coming up, and this is tied into the and the grief. I remember being a little girl, and before my grandpa died, he told me that I was going to do great things. And I think that after my grandparents died, life changed. And I think I went invisible. I know I went invisible. And so in a lot of ways, I'm keeping his memory alive. In me. Because I'm afraid to be invisible again.
Yeah. What do you want people to see when they see you?
I want people to see that I'm caring. That I can help people. And you just did it, Troy, without even saying it. That I can be a model of helping people through my words and my story, that they can heal also.
What are you feeling?
I'm feeling a bit of relief. I'm feeling that the politician has become humbled. Or maybe it's the judge that's become humbled.
Awesome. You also mentioned there's a martyr and an impotent one. So who's next?
Let's go with the impotent one.
All right. What does it look like?
It's like a black hole
underneath my feet, my entire house.
And what does it say?
You can't heal.
Do you believe it?
When I'm being swept into the abyss of its force, I do.
So this is going to be a weird question, but what's the contract that you've made with the impotent one?
It's about being fearful of my own power and being taught the misuse of power. So if I'm powerless, then I can just hold the family shame.
Mhm. All right. So imagine that I'm pulling out a contract and I'm like, okay, here's the deal. You get to hold the family shame. That's what you get out of this bargain. And all you have to do is just admit that you're powerless. Would you sign it?
I would love to get out of a contract of holding the family shame.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like you've been carrying this family shame probably your whole life.
In utero.
Yeah. And you don't want to hold it anymore.
Not at all.
Okay. So what would it take to put it down?
Well, I think that part of it is, honoring that in a lot of ways, the shame was a protector.
Yeah.
And me making that agreement was a survival strategy. The way me wants me to honor that.
Mm-hmm. So that was an agreement you made as a kid to survive.
Exactly.
And now that you're 24, not kidding. I'm kidding. Now that you're not a little kid anymore, you are telling me you don't want to hold that anymore.
No.
So what would it look like to put it down?
Me, as the adult me, and the little girl wants to make the biggest bonfire and burn all of the rubbish.
Mm, I love that. So
Yeah.
can you imagine yourself doing that? Go to that place, go to where you would go to build a massive bonfire and just burn it.
Well, because I know what I know, I'm going to have all my ancestry put in their stuff in there so that we can all be free.
I love that.
So I'm watching all of the baggage, all of that wounding of being invisible, not enoughness, unlovableness, if that's a word.
Yeah. Breathe into that. The picture that I'm seeing, and I'm not trying to create your picture so you can tell me if I'm not, but the picture I'm seeing is that all you and your ancestors are standing around the fire holding hands. Place this into the fire. Are there any words that you want to say, sort of like you would do at a funeral pyre? Oh, are there anything you want to say as part of this ceremony?
We're all love. We're all enough. And now we're all like doing a happy dance around the fire.
Nice. So now let's imagine that we speed the video up to, until the fire is completely out now. There's just ashes. What are you saying goodbye to?
I'm saying goodbye to like a plague. I'm saying goodbye to unnecessary pain and limitations. And I'm saying goodbye to what buffered me from my own ability to be intimate with myself. And I'm saying goodbye to lies because all that shame was mine.
Yeah. And what are you saying hello to?
Feeling connected to truth, to love.
Where do you feel that in your body? The truth, the love, where do you feel it?
I feel it a combination in my head and my heart. Like something just freed up in my brain. You know, there's a metaphor that is used that when you experience betrayal trauma, it's like your file cabinet gets shaken up and all the files get thrown everywhere. And I've been moving my brain. And something about letting go of that shame freed my brain back. You know, it's hard because, like, when you're carrying your own family shame, and then you attracted somebody who's in their shame addiction. I'm just getting this right now, Troy, that there's really no room for clarity.
Yeah. You're doing so amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
So I'm wondering where the martyr is.
You know, the martyr is something that it's a little distant right now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It doesn't
Feel as prevalent. You know, the martyr was really something that I was taught.
Yeah. You have to carry all this.
That I have to carry all of it, and I need to sacrifice myself and my well-being.
Yeah. And now that we've burned that all to the ground, I'm guessing that it really doesn't have a job to do right now.
Well, there's no more self-sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. So we don't have to deal with that right now. It's gone. Oh, I love that. Take another deep sigh. Whew.
At times, the martyr feels so powerful, but I didn't realize until today that the judge and the politician really like to keep the martyr around.
Mm-hmm. It's their EITCH. Wow.
Oh.
That's not, yeah. All right. So the politician's standing outside down the road. I want you to just say, hey, I see you over there.
Hey,
And what does it do when it's seen?
it's kind of like we're giving it the hands, I see you. But it's kind of like super distant and it's not as powerful. It doesn't have a charge
Nice.
over my space.
Good. Can you tell it thank you for trying to protect you? And
Yeah, thank you for trying to protect me. And I know that by me doing this healing work, by me putting this out there with you, Troy, today, that I am being me. And that is what being a really good therapist is. Being in authenticity, in presence.
yeah. So breathe into that and add that to the other truths you just reconnected with. And where do you feel that in your body?
It's in my heart. And there's a lot of relief. It's not about doing, it's about being. It's about healing. It's about doing my own work.
So breathe into that light again. And then tell the judge that you see it too.
That's so funny that you just said and picked up on the judge was coming in. Because the judge is like, well, you could do this, you could do this, you could, do this other healing modality, you could do this. And so I'm just going to give that a little bit of space and maybe put that in the backyard.
Ask the judge what it's trying to prevent you from having to deal with or feel by telling you that you're supposed to be perfect.
The judge it has this weird ulterior motive. It's trying to, in its own way, keep me present. It's like the gavel. Come into present time.
And what does it want you to experience in the present?
Well, it had to talk to wisdom because the wisdom just said what actually the judge is doing is trying to be a advocate for more clarity and self-care. So in its own twisted way, it's trying to get me to be more present.
So you have wisdom and the judge there. Who do you think is better at helping you with self-care?
Wisdom is.
Yeah. Who do you think is better at helping you be in the present?
Wisdom.
So, Judge, thank you so much for
Yeah, thank you so much for keeping me safe. I'm seeing this image of me as a little girl and like walking home from school, and the judge was like, get home up to school go straight home. Like, don't get detoured. Right. And I can see him an image of me walking home and, not by the bushes, being safe. Like, so I'm thanking it for the times in my life where it has kept me safe.
And
I think now wisdom can keep me safe. My self-energy can keep me safe.
what does the judge do with that?
It was seeing if there could be a plea bargain that it could like stick around for a little while, and I'm saying to it, I think I'm okay without you. I think when I'm integrated and whole, I know when I'm integrated and whole, I can make really good decisions.
Yeah. And you do.
I do.
Yeah. So breathe into that. want you to tell the judge that, hey, wisdom is here and she's going to help me get my needs met. I'm really going to be okay.
She's going to help me to get my needs met, and she's going to help me to be visible.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the judge was still holding on, because the judge thought that with the gavel, she would become visible.
Mm-hmm.
But the judge here to trust that being in my wisdom, I will allow myself to be visible.
Yeah. So now what's the judge doing?
Well, he's kind of pouting in the backyard. And then I'm just, sprinkling some like dissolving materials over top of him, and he's just like dissolving.
Nice. Okay, so breathe into that.
I just had this moment of awareness where I know the judge was one of my longest term relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I could feel some grief.
Yeah. So you want to say goodbye to it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What do you want to say?
I want to thank the judge for sticking by me for all those years and honor how it was a protector for me and that I don't need him anymore.
And what do you want to say hello to?
I want to say hello to really stepping into and embodying that integrated. It was hanging out like right here, kind of like its head was popping out off to the side, and I want it to flick in to my physical body.
Mm. Well, we still have one shadow to deal with, and then hopefully we can make that happen. So the big black hole under your feet, what's it doing right now?
It's sticky. It's tar.
Mm-hmm. And so ask the impotent one, what are you trying to prevent me from having to face or deal with by telling me that I'm powerless?
It's preventing me from being seen. Because even though I have wanted to be seen, being seen makes you more vulnerable.
Mm. So it doesn't want you to be vulnerable.
It doesn't want me to be vulnerable.
It's afraid that if you're vulnerable, then you'll get hurt.
Well, because hurt is what I know.
Yeah. So if you're not vulnerable, you won't get hurt?
Well, I know that that's not true.
Yeah. We're going to get hurt no matter what because we live in a world that's painful.
Exactly.
So thank you, impotent one, for...
Thank you, impotent one, for, and this is what it's saying, and this is what's coming through me. Thanks, impotent one, for actually learning about power and for not hurting people because of my own pain.
So what I'm hearing is the impotent one helped you not embrace the energy of the rebel.
It helped me to not be really mean. I want to close that black hole up.
Well, do it.
If I had these magical fingers to just pull it together.
Stitch it together.
Stitch it together.
All right. Is it closed?
Closed.
Okay. So your wisdom is standing next to you. Can you imagine it stepping into you?
It's stepping in and it's swirling around in my body in a beautiful, clear blue color.
And just keep breathing into that until it's filling every every cell, every muscle, every nerve, every single part of you.
I feel a lot of freedom.
So I'm going to ask your wisdom and yourself, because it's one and the same. So your body, your soul. The question, what is your new truth?
That I am lovable. I am seen.
Yeah. And how does that feel?
It's really settling into my heart.
So just breathe into that.
When I breathe into my heart, then I can see a future. One that is filled with more joy and love. The future that I've always wanted and that I always dreamt of seems manageable.
So is there anything your wisdom is inviting you to do differently?
It is inviting me to trust myself. Because it's always been there.
Yeah.
It was just in the shadows.
Yeah. Well, I think you're a really amazing person to trust.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm so proud of you. Oh, thank you. How does this feel?
It feels really good. It feels a lot less scary. You know, I know that in my own work, when something big is going to be moved, I feel what feels like anxiety and fear in my physical body, and I can breathe again.
So how can you connect with this new truth regularly?
Well, for one, I understand it, and that's why I bring in the energy of a color, because I can keep that really beautiful blue coming into my body, and more movement, more getting outside, and more play. My life, whatever that looks like.
Yeah. Oh, I love your smile.
Thank you.
You did amazingly well. Awesome. Well, thank you for hanging out with me today.
Anytime I get to hang out with the Jedi Master, I will.
Oh, you're so awesome. Oh, I love you.
Thank you. Love you too, Troy.
Well, yes, thank you. And thank you for being with us. So I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
You've been listening to the Finding Peace podcast. If you love the show or want to ask a question, let us know by going to findingpeaceconsulting.com. There, you can also learn about the Finding Peace 5-Day Challenge. Remember to subscribe to this podcast so you won't miss the next episode. And if you are listening on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating. It really does help other people find this podcast more easily. Thank you for spending part of your journey with us. And a special thanks to Johnny Porter for producing the show. and AG Flux for the new background music. Copyright Finding Peace Consulting.